including the opener at home against Appalachian State. But there's also some lines, I believe, they got to go to Pittsburgh in week 2.
Yeah.
They host Ohio State later in September. And what do you make of some of those spreads?
Yeah, I thought the Pitt one, you and I were both shocked, I think, to see Penn State a 14-point favorite over Pitt.
Yeah.
Road trip, I don't know if we know a whole lot about Pitt. I don't think they're supposed to be very good, but at that point in time, Penn State will be in a situation, too, where they have a lot to figure out. So I think that, you know, we'll have to see where things shake out. But to be 14-point favorites in week 2, when you don't know how things are going to be without, without Saquon and Deshaun and all these guys, plus, not to mention the defense has to replace, 8 starters? I think it could be a little bit of a tougher road than expected. So that one was high. Was not shocked that they were an underdog against Ohio State, even at home. You look at the other game then, Wisconsin, they're a favorite. I think that makes sense later in the season. But that could be a tough out. Then they're dogs at Michigan, too.
What would you make the line for the Ohio State game? When they host them, it's going to be a whiteout game, very likely at night.
Yeah.
How do you see that game?
Assuming everything goes as planned, I know it went up a little bit, went up to about 2.5, I think. Ohio State favored by 2.5, opened at 1.5. I could honestly see it as a pick by the time that game rolls around. I think you'll have enough money come in on Penn State to maybe move that line down come the last week of September.
Yeah.
But we've talked about it. It is not an easy stretch for Penn State in the first month of the season, Bob. I think you've made point to that it could be the toughest stretch they've had in quite some time, and certainly the Franklin era.
Yeah, and you look at just the series itself has really, the Penn State-Ohio State game has really become, those last 2 games have been 2 of the best games played in the regular season the last 2 years, with the Penn State unlikely rally on the blocked field goal, and then last year's game where Penn State couldn't hold, I believe it was a 15 or 18-point lead there in the second half, and they just kind of fell apart, lost by 1 point, a game that cost them just about everything.
Right.
So you just wonder, the winner of that game is in great shape, and the loser of that game anymore, it's almost like you play yourselves out of the playoff, I think, if you lose that game.
Agreed. Yeah, there's no question about it. So we'll see how it all shakes out in the end, but I do think that game could be closer to a pick. And then the rest of them are tough. You can say about being a 4.5-point favorite over Wisconsin now, but by the time we get to that game, Bob, any number of things could be in play.
Okay, third down.